What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What is the universe composed of? What does it mean to know something, and how would you know that you know it? These are the questions that philosophy asks. Philosophy comes from the Greek word philosophia, which means love of wisdom. But it's not just a Greek practice. In fact, wherever you find human beings, you're going to find people doing philosophy, asking these kinds of big questions that matter the most to human beings. In fact, for philosophers, we don't know what everyone else is doing because these are the most important things, the most important questions to ask. So many of the skills that we develop in philosophy are very important for any kind of life path that a person might follow. We like to focus on the development of argument, how we take complex ideas, complex readings, complex thoughts, and winnow them down so that they can become clear, concise, and elegant. Then we work on being able to communicate these ideas to other people and various formats so that we can develop creativity, critical thinking, and abstract thought. All of these are incredibly important things, but we also ask about moral questions, questions about how ought we to treat people. We ask about the kinds of questions such as, what can we hope for? What are the sorts of things that human beings ought to devote their lives to? But we do this in a way that makes it so that we can communicate with all sorts of different people in all sorts of different disciplines. This is what philosophy is. So while philosophy is something that we often think of as starting in the Greek tradition, it is also something that was developed in a very diverse and multicultural landscape. So it borrowed from and enveloped and developed ideas from Africa, from Asia, and from Europe. And it goes into all different sorts of human inquiry. You may not know this, but philosophy as a study actually is a part of almost every single career path and discipline that a person can practice or study. So for example, if you go into psychology, philosophy was the first one to ask questions about the psyche or the soul. And so these sorts of questions continue to be asked and practiced in psychology. If you go into computer science, you're going to be dealing with things like logic. How best to program computer languages is going to be directly tied to these ideas that were developed in ancient questions about logic, logical thinking, and argument. If you go into physics, you're going to be asking about the basic components of the universe. Is it simple? Is it complex? And these are the questions that even thinkers as ancient as Democritus were asking about the atom. There's very few disciplines today that don't have roots in the mother science of philosophy. We believe that philosophy can help every kind of student, every kind of person who wants to ask the big questions, but also develop the important skills for how to ask those questions and how to apply them in their work. So what is your philosophy? What kind of questions do you have about philosophy? Ask it in the comments section below.